Hey y'all, what's going on, Cowboys Nation? Hope you're all holding up well, because it's time for another round of Dallas Cowboys news, and trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Here's the latest scoop coming straight from the heart of Texas. Mike McCarthy, yep, seems like he's here to stay at least for now. The Cowboys have blocked the Chicago Bears from talking to McCarthy about their head coach vacancy. The Bears were hoping to bring him into their team, especially after they gave the boot to Matt Eberflus. But the Dallas Cowboys shut that down faster than a Texas thunderstorm. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that McCarthy's contract is up on January 14th, and the Cowboys are showing signs they might want to keep him around for a little longer. That's right, folks. Jerry Jones has his eyes set on McCarthy staying with the team. It's an odd situation, I gotta admit. The Cowboys had their fair share of struggles this past season, finishing with a 7-10 record, well below what we've come to expect from a team like the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of that can be chalked up to the injury bug, especially with Dak Prescott being out for a good stretch of the season. But even with that, fans expected a lot more out of the team. 3 seasons of solid regular season wins, but only one playoff victory. That's just not going to cut it for the Cowboys faithful. People are starting to wonder, can Mike McCarthy take this team over the top? Or are we going to keep watching the same old story play out every season? I'll tell you, it's a real tough spot for old Mike to be in. But here's the thing, you can't ignore the potential McCarthy brings to the table. We've seen what he can do when he's got the right pieces in place. And let's not forget, the Cowboys have a pretty darn good squad with players like Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. The team's got the talent to make a deep run in the playoffs, if only the leadership can catch up. You know Jerry Jones ain't one to sit back and watch his team underperform for long, so expect some serious talks in the near future. After another season wrapped up for the Dallas Cowboys, there's been plenty of talk surrounding Mike McCarthy's future in Big D. Now, old McCarthy doesn't shy away from speaking his mind. He's proud of what he's done and where he's at. I'm a winner. I know how to win, McCarthy declared with confidence. And you know what? He's right. The man's got a Super Bowl ring from his days in Green Bay, and he's done some solid work with the Cowboys too. McCarthy knows the weight of leading a team like the Dallas Cowboys, and he made it clear that his focus is right here in Dallas, where he's invested. The Cowboys have invested in him, and when you have that much on the line, you don't just walk away. I got a lot invested here, he said. And the Cowboys have a lot invested in me. Now, it ain't just McCarthy talking the talk. He's got the Cowboys players backing him up too. Dak Prescott, fresh off a big contract extension, has come out swinging in support of his head coach. I believe in him wholeheartedly, Dak told Yahoo Sports. That's a big endorsement from the QB1 himself. And it's no surprise that Prescott sees McCarthy as a guy who deserves another shot with CeeDee Lamb locked down and Micah Parsons expected to be next in line for an extension. The core of the Cowboys is solid, but it's McCarthy who's got the reins of the ship. Parsons, always level-headed, backed McCarthy up too, saying, "Mike and his relationship with me has always been really good." The stars seem aligned for the Cowboys to keep McCarthy around. But let's be honest. Nothing's set in stone. The Cowboys are expected to make their decision on McCarthy's future by January 14th, and the world's waiting to see if Jerry Jones will stick with the guy who's been at the helm or make a move. As we all know, this is Dallas, and the NFL world's always watching. Will McCarthy keep his spot? Will he earn that next contract? Only time will tell, but the clock's ticking down. Now, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys' future, folks. With McCarthy potentially staying put, the team has some major decisions to make when it comes to player contracts and strategy. Dak and CeeDee are locked in, but we've got Micah Parsons, who's on the verge of getting his payday. Let's not forget, this is a team with championship aspirations. McCarthy's leadership could very well determine if the Cowboys are able to make that next step. But it's not just about the head coach or the star players. The Cowboys' coaching decisions need to align with the overall vision of this football team. As McCarthy himself said, "I'm a winner," and the fans in Dallas are waiting to see if he can back it up with a deep playoff run or, even better, a Super Bowl. As the season gets closer to the finish line and the decision on McCarthy looms, the stakes couldn't be higher for the Dallas Cowboys. What do y'all think? Will Mike McCarthy prove he's the guy to lead the Cowboys to the promised land? Or is it time for a change? Let me know your thoughts below. This is going to be one wild ride. Well, folks, there's been some serious buzz around Kellen lately. Now, we're all familiar with his time with the Dallas Cowboys. But here's the kicker. Moore has been shaking things up with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2024. He's been the magic behind a revamped offense that's seen an increase in turnovers and a running game that's just been dominating. We can't help but wonder, could that magic return to Dallas? Some say there's a shot he might find himself back at the Star, and the rumors are gaining some serious steam. Now let's talk about what Moore's done in Philly. He's turned their offense into a force, helping them rack up stats like the first 2,000-yard rusher in years. Not only that, but he's worked wonders with quarterbacks. Both Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott are seeing their game shine under Moore's tutelage. It's no wonder that Kellen's name is on the list of potential head coaches, with teams like the Bears and Saints keeping a close eye on him. But here's where it gets interesting for Cowboys fans. Mike McCarthy is still holding the reins. Though his future has been the subject of many a conversation with Jerry Jones, the clock's ticking on McCarthy's contract, and there's talk about what'll happen once his deal runs out on January 14th. That leaves a window open for Moore to potentially come back into the fold. But there's one key factor. He's got to prove his worth in Philly first. Can Moore get the Eagles to the Super Bowl and make a serious case for his future as a head coach? If that happens, don't be surprised if you hear his name floated around in Cowboys rumors. Kellen Moore's success isn't just about numbers. It's about the impact he's had on molding a squad that's been firing on all cylinders. Even though he's still in his 30s, the man's ready for the big leagues. Whether or not he takes the reins at another franchise or comes back to Dallas, one thing's clear, his time is coming. And when it does, he's going to make some serious waves. But here's the real kicker for Dallas fans. If Moore lands a head coach role, whether with the Eagles, Bears, or someone else, could he bring that same offensive firepower back to the Cowboys? Could we see a new era of high-flying offense back at the Star? Let me ask you, y'all, do you think Kellen Moore would be the right man to lead the Cowboys into the next chapter of greatness? Or is there someone else who fits the bill better? Well, y'all, looks like the Cowboys are in for a wild ride this offseason. And you know it wouldn't be a proper Cowboys offseason without some drama. We're already hearing whispers about Micah Parsons needing that contract extension like yesterday. If they don't get that done soon, we might be looking at a showdown. And don't even get me started on Coach Mike McCarthy. He's got a lot of folks wondering if he's the right guy to lead this team through the storm. But hold on, there's more filling out that roster after last year's mess. Now that's going to be a tough job. Think back to last March. The Cowboys could have locked up CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, and I'm talking about the contracts they should have jumped on way sooner. That would have given them some breathing room, a little flexibility in the books. But what did they do? Nothing. Nothing in free agency, nothing on the trade market. The silence was deafening. Now the hope is that Jerry Jones has figured it out, though. With him calling the shots at his age and being stuck in his old ways, it's hard to know if that'll happen. And here's where it gets real interesting, folks. When we look at the state of the running game, things just ain't right. Last season was a disaster in that department, and with the way things are shaping up, it might be time for a change. Rico Dole had his moments, sure, but they're going to need more than that. Depth is key. So what's next? Rumor has it the Cowboys are looking at making a trade to fill that void, and there's talk of a 1,300-yard star playmaker on the move. Can you imagine that? A game changer in the backfield. Now, for all y'all Dallas Cowboys fans out there, I know you're feeling that bittersweet excitement. We've been burned before, but the hope is always there, right? The Cowboys gotta move quickly this offseason, but will they make the right moves? You know Jerry's going to take his sweet time, but that can't happen anymore. It's time to get this roster where it needs to be before the season starts. All right, y'all. There's one name that keeps popping up in the trade talk for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's a doozy. Breece Hall from the New York Jets. Now this kid's only 23 years old, a former second-round pick, with some serious upside. He hasn't always had the spotlight in New York, but last season, he was something special with 876 yards on 209 carries. That's an average of 4.2 yards per carry. He wasn't just running the ball either, no sir. Brees had 57 catches for 483 yards, totaling 1,359 yards from scrimmage, good enough for 16th in the entire NFL. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's a serious playmaker. If you're a Dallas fan like me, you gotta be thinking how a trade for a player like Hall could shake things up. Word around the campfire is that the Cowboys might give up 2 picks to bring him in. Sounds like a solid move if you ask me. Can you imagine how explosive that offense would be with Hall, Zeke, and Tony Pollard all in the mix? It'd be a nightmare for any defense in the league. If the Cowboys can pull this off, they might just be the team to make a deep playoff run, maybe even heading back to the big game for the first time in years. Now, I want to know what y'all think. Would this be a good deal for the Cowboys? Does Brees Hall fit into what the Cowboys need to go all the way this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more of that juicy Dallas Cowboys news. Here's the thing, folks. Adding Hall to the Cowboys lineup could do wonders, not just for their run game, but for their entire offense. With Hall's dual threat ability, it would keep defenses on their toes every single play. We've seen the Cowboys struggle at times to get their offense clicking, especially when they rely too much on Dak and the passing game. Adding a versatile back like Hall could take some of that pressure off and give the offense a well-rounded approach. Hall's ability to catch passes out of the backfield would give Dak another weapon to work with, something they've been missing for a while. Pollard's great, but Hall could take the load off him, allowing him to stay fresh throughout the season. Plus, think about the trickle-down effect this could have on the Cowboys' offensive line. When they have a legit threat like Hall, defenses can't stack the box so easily, and it opens up opportunities for big plays down the field. What if this trade could be the spark that ignites a Cowboys Super Bowl run? Would you make the trade if you were Jerry Jones? Tell me your thoughts down below.